Hey, look at that. We're freaking live and we're freaking on time for once. Holy cow. It's freaking going down here. We're freaking live. Oh my gosh. We're back live, guys. I haven't been live. Get this music out of here. Hold on a second. All right. Whoa. Now I can think. What's this doing here? Looking like a damn mess. Get out of here. All right. Now I can think. All right. Jeez. Unprepared for your own live stream, Will. Yeah, well, I'm well aware I canceled it the other day. Sorry. More important matters came up. I'll leave it at that. But anyway, here we are, and I'm well aware it's like one in the afternoon on a freaking Tuesday on the East Coast. So that's what? 1, 12, 11, 10 a.m. on the West Coast, and like God knows what time it is in Hawaii or fucking the Midwest. Nor do I care. I love the Midwest, don't get me wrong. Not really, but you guys are great. I'm not in the States right now, so that's why I'm doing it now. I'm not going to tell you what time it is here because that's giving away where I am potentially. But suffice to say, I've been overseas for like 3 months now, and I'll leave it at that. So I did want to get this live stream going though, because like I've literally been meaning to put this live stream Q&A together for some time. It's just been, the questions have been building up at the website inbox, and also the Instagram DM and the email. So like I told everyone I would get your questions in the live stream. So here it is. Here's a freaking live stream. I apologize for like not doing it sooner, but again, like with the time zone change, it makes it very tough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play a quick song, see if anybody trickles in. Again, I'm realizing that it's like in the middle of the freaking afternoon in the States, but I will play a quick song or two, cover the camera, and then get my head straight, drink my pomegranate juice, and we'll get the whole Q&A live stream started. So for those of you guys watching afterwards, which I know most of you probably will, hey, feel free to skip like 6 minutes, 7 minutes past the music, and we'll get right into the live stream. All right, guys. In the meantime, enjoy some pretty pleasant and relaxing Asian-themed martial arts music, and I hope you like it as much as I do. We'll be right back. Magic. All right, ladies and gentlemen, or should I say, gentlemen and gentlemen. We all know how many ladies tune into this channel. Actually, it's a few. I've gotten some questions from a number of ladies, actually, which is always kind of freaking surprises me. So I appreciate you tuning into the live stream. Whether you're watching live, whether you're catching us later at a later date. Again, I know that it's odd timing and I didn't announce it much. Apologize again for canceling the last live stream. I know some of you guys were looking forward to it, but this is going to be well worth the wait. I do anticipate a very good live stream today. So before I get started, I have a question for you. How did the two cats end their fight? Okay, give up. They hissed and made up. Oh, Will, what a freaking funny joke. I know. Thank you. I've been working on that one. All right, so let's get to the live stream questions, guys. Let's just jump into it, all right? Like, if you have anything to add, have anything to ask, have anything at all, obviously, plop it down in the comments there. But I'm just going to jump right into the questions because, frankly, it's a little late here, and I really wanted to get this live stream done. Again, I've been fucking, want to do the Q&A live stream for probably over a month now. But, given the circumstances, it's been tough. So I decided if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So some of these questions, I forgot to write down the name. I always try to write down the name, but this one was from the Multiple Attackers video. And I'm sorry I didn't write your name down. Otherwise, I would shout you out. But you ask if you should use a knife against multiple attackers. So, no. I mean, no. It's not a good idea, and I'll explain why. Because the chances of you, using that knife and then, cutting some throats and then getting away, it sounds good in theory. But in principle, when you've got, a mess of people, attacking you, it's just, I would worry very much, number one, about that knife being taken and used against you. I would worry about you hurting yourself with your own weapon potentially, but even more so, I certainly worry about the legal ramifications. And yeah, it sounds okay, the way the law in the US at least is written is that multiple attackers is a deadly force situation. You're kind of allowed to use deadly force to combat that, but do you really want to cut throats and then have to deal with that? Right now, again, if it's your life or theirs, sure, but tactically speaking, I would try to avoid that if possible. My experience would tell me that the likelihood is there of that weapon eventually probably being used against you, your own weapon. That's nothing's written in stone, but that's just such a situationally dependent answer to your question. But in general, if you feel I would say if you feel like you can survive through that situation without using a knife, you might reconsider it. I will put it to you like that, because it's a tough question to answer. Honestly. Another question, I forgot to write your name down. I'm sorry. Opinions on Aikido. So, yeah, I do actually. I've had the opportunity to train Aikido in Japan with my friend Rich, who I met at one of Bill Wolf's battle schools. Great guy. I will be seeing him again sooner than later, actually. And he's a black belt in Aikido. He invited myself and Taylor over to his dojo, Aikido dojo in Tokyo. And we had the honor and the pleasure of training with him and his Aikido master and a bunch of other really, really solid Aikido guys. Here's my thing with Aikido. Is it good for weapons, disarms type of thing? Yes, that's what it was meant for. In some of you may know this, some of you may not. There's a lot of different dos in the samurai like training curriculum, right? Originally, they were all kind of combined into one. It was like jujitsu was the unarmed fighting version, and aikido would have been combined with jujitsu to like disarm a knife, take it, throw the guy, come down, and then there was like aikijitsu, or there was like a bunch of different like things that now are separate. Like now it's like knife fighting, now it's samurai knife fighting, now it's aikido, now it's jujitsu, now it's like how to use a bow, how to use a like a bow and arrow, like all these different schools, but originally the samurai would all learn them kind of together. Aikido is good for that, right? And we had the opportunity to learn some techniques that were like, what if a guy is close to you in a crowd and he pulls out a short sword? What are they called? Tanto or something, right? And there's techniques for this, like if you're close to somebody. So yes, like Aikido, potentially for like some weapons disarm stuff, it's great. For some small joint manipulation, if you take the time to learn it, can be very, very great. Now, the problem with taking your time to learn it is like, it's like jujitsu, where it takes a long time to really get good enough to be able to pull these techniques off in like a real situation. I've never been great at small joint manipulation. I love wrist locks in jujitsu. I'm good at those, but like grabbing someone by the wrist and then throwing them, like that's an aikido thing. It's cool, like but it takes, and Rich will tell you this as well, it takes you getting probably your black belt before you can really hope to pull that off, like in a real situation. Now, not to mention the fact that like in a real street fight, I'm just going to say it like it is, I don't think aikido is worth a damn that much. I mean, when the punches are being thrown at you, like, dude, you better have trained some MMA, man. Like, you better have been there and done it before. You better have trained some boxing, right? Like, but if you want a very traditional art, right? Like my jujitsu professor, John Helwig, my original one from Jersey, he always used to make the analogy like, if you want to study a very traditional Japanese art, like if you're into the Japanese culture, things like a tea ceremony or things like Aikido, where you wear the original garb and like all of this cool stuff, it's great. Like it's an absolutely fantastic way of keeping the Japanese customs and traditions and culture alive and like feeling like a part of the samurai tradition. Wonderful. But I wouldn't study Aikido strictly for self-defense. Now, with that being said, I was thrown around by like a freaking, I think he was a dude in his like mid 70s. And I mean, the dude was powerful, right? But again, the dude's been training Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu for like longer than I've been alive. So, and I'm 38, so like long time. So Ace Jazz G asks about Taylor, and your question is appreciated. So some of you guys know that Taylor and I went and flew back out a couple of months ago to Southeast Asia, where Taylor took a pro Muay Thai fight. It was very cool. Unfortunately, his tibia got broken in the middle of that fight. He did finish the fight. It was against a Muay Thai champion from China. It was during the Songkran Festival, which is the Thai New Year. Huge honor. I got to corner him. It was freaking badass. Unfortunately, I had to take him. I literally had to like carry him into a freaking tuk-tuk. Those of you guys who don't know what a tuk-tuk is, it's like a cross between like a motorbike and a taxi. I had to like carry him into that and take him to the hospital. And there we did an X-ray. We found out his tibia was broken. Update on how he's doing. He got surgery in Thailand. I ended up staying out in Thailand with him for about a month, and he's back stateside now. He ended up having an infection from the surgery in Thailand, and he had to have a couple more surgeries since he got back stateside. So he's gonna be okay. They took the metal out of his leg that was in there. So he'll be able to be training again probably in the next 6 months, and then fight again in a year about. Muay Thai is a very intense sport. I don't recommend you fight Muay Thai unless you're very experienced with it. But he is doing okay now. He is back in the States, so you know he's doing better than he was. Thank you for asking. Um, Manji. I know you stress the importance of speaking another language and other soft skills like this, which is very cool and a breath of fresh air, frankly. Now, what do you think is the fastest way to learn new skills like this? Keep up the great work. Thanks, Frank G. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the way it was phrased, Frank. So, how do you learn soft skills like this, like quickly? I guess would be the real to get to the meat and potatoes of it. Really, when you go and start learning skills like this, where it's like psychological and soft skills and stuff, the first thing that you learn is how you learn. Right? They always say that like you have to learn how to learn, but more importantly, you have to learn how you learn. Some people are audio learners, auditory learners. Some people are visual learners. Some people are kinesthetic learners. Some people are a combination of a few of them. But you have to learn how you learn, right? And then all it is from there is just hard work, dedication, and lots of practice. And then as far as the languages go, immersion. I mean, that's with everything, right? And that's with when I learned surveillance and stuff like that. I spent a long time doing it. I just did it and did it and did it and did it with the languages too. I just did it and did it and spoke it and spoke it and spoke it. It's hard at first, but eventually it gets easier and you just keep going. So Frank, that's the way we learn soft skills, just doing it over and over and over, repetition and learning how you learn. Moon Monkey asks, what do you think about the dancing Israelis? Man, I don't know, bro. That's a fucking can of worms, isn't it? I mean, the theory is that like Israel had something to do with that whole thing in September, blah blah blah. You got to be careful how I answer this because you know whatever. The theory is they had something to do with it to drag us into the Middle East. I don't know, man. I don't know. Could be, maybe it's not. I don't know. I'll say it like that. It's a good question though. I got to be careful how I answer these things because, like, you know, I'll leave it like that. Freaking A, man. And to Will, where did you learn how to fight? And how long have you been doing martial arts? Man, I've been doing martial arts since I was like 18. Started boxing a little bit when I was 18. I started fighting when I was in military school. Like out of necessity, like fucking defend myself and shit. It was a rough place. It wasn't like it's a correctional military school. But yeah, and then I started doing some boxing, and then I went to sea for a while with the Merchant Marine, and then what did I do next? And then I started with Shaolin Kempo. I met in like this cool ass Asian dude in the town next to me where I grew up, and fucking old ass, like he wasn't even old, but he's like probably in his 50s at the time, gangster ass dude. And I started talking to him one day, and I was like, dude, I want to learn how to fight. And he's like, why? I was like, well, I'm in the Merchant Marine. He's like, oh, say no more. I'll train you like you're my own son going to combat. I'm like, all right, cool. And dude, he taught me some like cool stuff. Like I did private lessons with him, and then I also took some of his classes. But like, you know, he showed me some great stuff, and he really laid down some fundamentals. After that, I think I did some Krav Maga, and then I started training DSS, and this was like a street fighting art developed by like I won't say the name, developed by street gangs in the Lower East Side of Manhattan, like in the projects. I was like very lucky to be able to study this, and this dude Garnett Stroger, he took me under his wing, and I trained with him every day for like 2 hours a day. And he just taught me all kinds of crazy shit. The dude was like he had studied a lot of stuff, like kind of like I am now, but like he knew a lot of stuff. Goju-Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, Ninjutsu, what is it? Shaolin Kempo, like dude, you name it. The dude was a good boxer. Like he really, and he stressed DAS, Deadly Art of Survival, stressed the importance of boxing. I think some of it was like that prison boxing shit. Like, dude, it was cool. So I trained 2 hours a day with him every day, every weekday for like a couple of years. And I got pretty good at it. After that, I think I went back to boxing for a while. Did a bunch of Krav, did a bunch of Jeet Kune Do. What else? Wing Chun. And then I got into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Muay Thai, started doing all that stuff, boxing again, and then MMA. And then now, like, I primarily train Muay Thai, wrestling, and MMA. And then I'm leaving out a bunch of, like, Bill Wolf seminars and gutter fighting stuff and various like military style hand-to-hand systems and shit like that. But like, um, yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell. Um, my background in that. Let's see. TDK64DK. I don't know, man. I was a bit drunk and I got circled by 7 kids. This is replying to the multiple attackers video that I did. So you got circled by 7 kids. Maybe they were 18 years old. I guess you're a younger guy. And while 2 of them confronted me, and 8th one crawled up and knocked my lights out. I woke up like 2 minutes later, stood up, walked zombie mode to the hospital, and slept 20 hours. They played football with my body while I was down, and at no moment was I able to avoid the ground. I don't know why I have that. That's a statement, not a question. I don't know why that's on my list here. Okay. Well, yeah, that's, you don't like watch the video. Just watch the video. Like, there's some good information there. If an attacker is a psycho and intent on fucking me up, what do I do? Run away, bro. I mean, dude, like, there's no sense in fighting someone that you don't think you can win. Like, I mean, all the great, like, samurai and like all the warrior scholars from the past, like, they all say, like, don't fight a battle you can't win, or you don't think you can win. Again, this is one of the reasons I'm so, like, I stress cardio so much. Like, dude, wear shoes and be able to run fast away if you can. Now, obviously, like, sometimes, sure, like, you won't be able to run away. I get it, you're cornered or something. And if they're a psycho and intent on fucking you up, you got to be more of a psycho, bro. And you got to have trained a lot and fought a lot. And that's why I don't sugarcoat things. Like, I don't sugarcoat things for my students, and I don't sugarcoat things for any of you. You got to make yourself, like, incredibly physically tough, and you got to fight, like, a lot. And you got to train hard, and you got to, like, make your mind and your body fucking hard. And if you do that, then you'll be a match for that psycho that's intent on fighting you like that. And if it comes down to combat, well, you have to make sure that you're the one who walks away. And I'll leave it like that. Be more crazy than they are. And I have a video coming out tomorrow for Warrior Wednesday that talks all about the importance of hardening your mind and your body, and how to do that. So check that out. But that's a good question. If you have to go into combat and you have to fight, you have to be more savage and brutal and crazy than the other guy. And frankly, sometimes that's hard because the other guy has nothing to lose. But you have to flip that switch where, like, if you have to go into combat, you are going to do whatever it takes to end your opponent. It's not an easy mental switch to flip in the society that we live in, and frankly, it can be dangerous to think that way. But, like, That's why I always say, like, don't enter into any type of like physical confrontation unless you're willing to end the other person. And if they are attacking you and it's a serious enough situation where you think you might be warranted to do that, then once you let that dog out of the cage, it's out, dude. And it ain't stopping until the other guy stops. It's just the savage way you got to think about that shit. Um, SPR 55689. Opinions on the Gaza crisis. Why the fuck is everyone asking me this shit? Dude, like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I have opinions on it. Like, I don't really want to share them, to be honest, man. Like, I don't know. I've been over there. I've trained with the IDF. Okay, I'll say it like that. Like, I also speak Arabic, and I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, like in various countries, right? In the Levant, in the Gulf. Um, I, um, yes, I have an opinion on it. I'm not going to share it at this time, but I apologize, but I shouldn't. And I hate to do that, but like, realize again, I'm currently residing overseas, so I will not talk about that right now publicly, for my own security. Let's see. Sam I am the frog. What do you think? Oh, jeez. I'm getting like some questions here. What do you think of white kids acting like thugs and trying to be ghetto? Dude, like, what the fuck, man? All right, I'll answer this one. I'll answer it honestly. Act like a white man. Don't if you're not that, don't fucking act like that. You're a white man. Act like a white man. Have some fucking self respect. All right. Um, heavy duty man, heavy duty man. Hey Will, can you do more medical training videos for us? I know you were a medic at the fire department, and it would be nice to get some additional medical training from an experienced guy like yourself. I'd be happy to do that. I would be absolutely happy to do that. No problem. I will put some good videos together for you, heavy duty man. Thank you for the suggestion. And again, if you guys have any requests, just throw them in the comments. Or you can always send them to me again. Gutterfightingsecrets at gmail.com. Gutterfightingsecrets.com. We've got the option up there to send me a private message. You can DM me on Instagram at Gutterfightingsecrets. Number of ways to get in touch. And I'm always open to hear suggestions and requests and all of that stuff. And I do my best to accommodate. Abercomsley. Dude, I wish I had some courage to stand up for myself, but it seems like every time somebody says something, I just go silent or doubt, don't say anything, and then later I think of something to say and regret it. What should I do to be more able to have good comeback lines or feel confident that I could stand up for myself in a fight and win? It's actually a really good question, and I know that other people have felt the same way, and I've felt that before when I was younger. And sometimes like it's a challenge dealing with like when people are just talking shit but they don't want to actually back it up. That's frustrating, like I get it all the time here on YouTube. It's like, wow, I can't reach through the screen and fucking grab you up. But it's frustrating, right? It's a lot of times you get these like little people who like they want to poke at you until you blow up and then make it look like your fault. Like I fucking hate those little weak people. I've gotten way better at dealing with them in my older years here, but let me read this question again so I answer it the right way because I really do want to answer this question. Man, it really boils down to like what you said. It boils down to confidence. There's a lot that you can do to build your confidence. I actually think that I just did I'm pretty sure I did a Warrior Wednesday about this last week. So go and check that one out. I, it sounds like it. I don't know how old you are, man, but regardless, like lift a lot of weights, start boxing, bro. And do some stuff to like kind of rewire your brain. For me, when I started learning other languages, it really made me sharper. You can study some psychology, but definitely like do some weights and start boxing or do some jujitsu. That alone will help. But strengthen your mind and body, man, and you'll be fine. Trust me. You'll learn how to deal with those cocksuckers. Slumberger girl. There are many bitches tripping, thinking they could really drop. I can't use that word. A something, uh, but they tripping, and that was it. That was the whole statement question. I don't know if that's what that was, but it was sent to me. uh, there are many bitches tripping they could really drop. So I guess that I'm guessing that you want to know if women can really fight a man. No, no. I mean, unless you're like an incredibly skilled martial artist or like a cage fighter, then sure, yeah, absolutely. But like your average woman, no. Your man's stronger. Will always be stronger. That's why when I teach my girls, like in my girls who are students, or well, yeah, my girls who are students and my students who are girls. um, when I train them like with the self defense shit, like I train them to be really savage and try to get the fuck away. But yeah, it's. I mean, honestly, I don't like training women. Um, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy being around women every time I can, but it's like it's difficult to kind of like to kind of like teach them how to fight. You know, like a man, right? Like it's just difficult. And I don't like it's hard. Because like you can't. It's just not the same, man. Like teaching hand to hand combat to a woman is like it's kind of a pain in the ass. I've got one student, I won't use her name, but she's really good, and I think it's because she's half Japanese, half Irish. So like she's got the best of both worlds going on there as far as fighting. Um, I think she could, with more training, absolutely drop a dude, but most women can't. So you got to teach them like to gouge eyes, kick dudes in the nuts, and stuff like that, and like not engage. You know, break off as quickly as possible. Yeah, it's no. Women generally cannot beat men in a fight unless the man's really weak. RZDDY asks hollow points or ball ammunition. Depends on what you're trying to accomplish, man. Um, I mean, hollow points are good if you don't want to penetrate, right? Like if you don't want a lot of penetration, you expect to be in like a crowd or something like that. But again, if you want if you want more penetration, like ball ammunition's good. Um, I always carry hollow points, generally speaking. Um, I mean, keep in mind that like I don't really know the trajectory. Like I've only shot ball ammunition out of windshields, but I always kind of wonder. I know that I think it's Hornady makes the hollow points that are supposed to be able to penetrate glass well, because they have some kind of like jacket on them where like they'll penetrate the glass and then Mayo Monkey, what's up, man? How you doing, man? And then they penetrate the glass and then they start expanding, something like that. It's like the LE edition Hornady, something like that. But they're heavy, so I don't like to carry them. But shooting out of glass, honestly, is something that happens a lot. Um, yeah, okay, Hornady barrier rounds. Like personally, I think you're more likely to be shooting out of glass than not. If you're a civilian, or if you're like doing something like that, low vis type of thing, you're honestly more likely to have to shoot out of glass kind of than not. Um, if you're smart, right? If you're smart. So maybe I'll start carrying those again. I might do that. But again, they're a little heavier. I like the ultralight. I forget, man, what is it? Ultralight plus P. I forget who makes it. But they're so fucking light, dude. It's like you're not carrying any rounds in your weapon at all. So um, that's my take on it. I mean, Bayo Monkey, you can chime in there too. I don't know. I'm guessing you carry. I think everybody carries hollow points these days. But there's a time and a place for ball ammunition, I reckon. So let's see. All right, cool. I think we got to most of these questions here. Um, yeah. Cool. And then like a couple more questions on the same stripe was like the multiple attackers. That video really kind of blew up, and I'm glad it got such a great response. You know, when you're fighting multiple attackers, first of all, don't if you can avoid it. I'll tell you that from personal experience, but like um if you're forced into it, like just do the best you can to get away, you know. And then you got to just be a fucking savage, dude. Like, I mean, that's all fighting. You got to just be a fucking savage, and you kind of can't be afraid of the consequences. I mean, once you're involved, once you commit to the combat, like you are fully committed. Period. Um, that's it's a mental shift you've got to make. It's like not really easy in our soft society today to like make that mental shift to like commit to. And I can't say it. I don't think I can say it here like what I really mean, but I think you understand is like, let me say it like this. Soldiers have said when they go into war, making that mental shift to actually be totally willing to kill somebody is very difficult. But they, these soldiers have said that is what it takes to walk away. Not necessarily that you have to every time, but you have to be willing to do so, is what these soldiers have said. So, yeah, I mean, it's a mental shift, dude. That like, I hope no one ever has to mentally go there. So, with all that being said, I mean, I know again it's like a awkward hour here that I'm having to do the live stream. I'm overseas. I've been overseas for 3 months. Like I said earlier, the time zone is a hell of a thing. So I knew if I didn't do this live stream now, I would never do it. And I canceled the live stream for uh, anyway. I had to reschedule the live stream. I had a guest come over, and I chose that over the live stream. I don't think you can blame me. But I wanted to do this now. I don't know if any of you guys watching right now have anything to add, have any questions. What I'll do is just look over my notes one more time. And I think what I'll do is before I do close out, I'd like to kind of talk about the importance of mental fortitude. I can't talk a lot about it right now, but the past few months have been very interesting for me in many different countries around the world. And how do I say this? I've had to really think on my toes quite a bit. Um, and I've had to have a lot of mental fortitude. So I think what I'll talk about just very briefly before I close out is the importance of mental fortitude for the warrior. You know, how do I say this without when you are a warrior, there is going to be a lot more downtime a lot of the time than there is action. Um, And sometimes that can be very challenging. Sometimes boredom can really set in. Um, and then sometimes like shit happens really quickly that you weren't expecting, and like it's go go go, and then it's like a lot of boredom again for a while. And then shit happens where you're like, fuck, like, and maybe you're like very nervous for like a week or two on end, and you're fucking super stressed out. And then it's like back to blah boredom again, and like this routine of like, can't even call it a routine, but yeah, this routine is like super stressful. Um, and it requires a lot of mental fortitude to be able to deal with situations like this. Just having to choose my words carefully. I'll put it to you like this: self discipline is one of the number one characteristics of a warrior, of an experienced warrior. You know, I always tell everybody, all of my students, and I tell everybody that asks me about this is like, one of the things that you have to start doing when you wake up in the morning is making your bed. Like, maybe not like right away, like military style, but like within like a half hour of waking up, your bed should be made. This is something like that will discipline yourself. You have to have a routine. You know, like guys who have been to prison will tell you about like having a routine and a program and how important it is for your like mental survival. When I was learning about some ways to deal with uh, being confined, like you know, you go through some training about like what ways to deal with that. You know, one of the things that was stressed was the importance of a routine. Even if you're in a cell all by yourself or like a dark room by yourself, like the example they used was like, okay, I might not even know really what time it is, but like I wake up and like I'm gonna now sit over here, and I'm gonna sit over here for 5 minutes in this corner, and then after that, after I get myself together, I'm going to move around a little bit, even if it's like only just moving around a little bit, you know. And I'm going to do that for like 10 minutes, and then I'm going to do like push-ups or jumping jacks or whatever, and I'm going to do that for like an hour if I have the strength, right? And then hopefully I'll have, some food, and then after that I'm going to do some counting exercises in my head, and then after that I'm going to do this. And you have a routine that you build for yourself, even if it's, and that's an extreme example, but like, um, making a program for yourself is essential, and it really takes the edge off of stressful times. And even in your everyday civilian life, having a program for yourself is fucking essential to make you a more disciplined and capable and competent person, and competent as well. um, you wake up, and it doesn't matter what time it is. You wake up, you make your bed, you make your coffee, and then you do some reading, or then you drive to work, or then you go to the gym, and then you drive to work. And then while you're at work, you have ways of keeping yourself, mentally sharp. Like these things, like, and then when you come home, you have a program where you develop yourself further, your mental abilities. You have something that you're working towards. You're learning a new language. You're training in jujitsu. You're eating healthy diet, right? Like these programs are absolutely essential to make yourself a more disciplined and capable individual. And believe it or not, having a program or a routine like this, if you're able to keep up with it, will turn you into an absolute beast. Now, don't become too dependent on these routines, because that can make you soft, right? Being too dependent on a routine, and then when your routine gets thrown off, like, can fuck you up. Let me talk more about that. Like maybe I'll do escape evasion resistance thing or something at some point, but like having a routine and sticking with it will make you a fucking badass. It will. And if it's a good routine and it's healthy for you, like, you know, copious amounts of physical exercise, copious amounts of healthy eating, copious amounts of learning and bettering yourself and your hard skills, your soft skills, your mental abilities, like this is absolutely essential. And you will find that the more you do this, the more you're able to handle almost any situation that is thrown at you in life. So that's why I really stress with my fellow warriors the importance of having, you know, a strong mind, because, and you know, I tomorrow's Warrior Wednesday video is going to be about this: how to harden your mind and your body. But one of the things I'm going to talk about in that video is the fact that if you harden your mind, you know, I'd rather give me 2 or 3 guys that are just mentally fucking unbreakable on my team versus like 5 to 10 guys who are like, they're strong, but like maybe they're cool, maybe they're not. Like, give me those 2 or 3 guys that are just like mentally fucking unstoppable and unbreakable, and we will accomplish any task that you put before us. That is the indomitable warrior spirit. When you learn to become mentally unshakable and unbreakable, as well as physically fucking hard. And we accomplish that through hard physical training, hard mental training, putting ourselves through stressors and stressful situations. We will walk out of that a way better warrior and individual in the end. So that's kind of what I wanted to leave you with, and I'll expand more on that tomorrow during the Warrior Wednesday video. Mayo Monkey Dude, thanks for stopping by. I know there's a couple of other guys in here that are lurking around and haven't identified themselves. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to, but I definitely look forward. Look, once I get back stateside, I will do like a live stream. I'll announce it well in advance so that we can all catch up, and I can catch up with some of the GFS regulars and, you know, GFS family out there that I haven't seen some of you guys or heard or talked to some of you guys for like ages, but definitely want to catch up with you all. I'm planning a spring 2025 bug out from Kansas to Maine on my Yamaha TW200 stealth camping, 2-lane and dirt roads only. Dude, that's dope. That's going to be fun, man. That's fucking cool. Dude, I don't know, maybe you can record some of it, man. Like that would be cool to watch, put a video together about it. Be badass. If not, keep me apprised of what you're like how you're training for that and all that. Yeah, I'd like to know. All right, guys. Well, it's getting later than late here, so I'm gonna jet. I gotta eat and get ready for bed, but till next time, Mother Flowers, please remember that you are your first and last line of defense, and I'll see you all. I'll see you tomorrow on the Warrior Wednesday video. Check it out. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Cheers, Mother Flowers. Oh, hey, don't forget, if you got questions, send them to me, and I'll answer them in the next live stream. All right. Cheers, guys.